Sorry about that, guys. I keep losing storage on my phone. Anyway, like I was saying, when your relationship with God comes first, right? And you know that above all, your peace is like so important. Like you'll get to a point in your life where you're just like, okay, I'm done with drama, and anybody who's going to bring me drama or bring me negativity, right? Okay, and this usually happens somewhere in adulthood where you're like, okay, I have tried and tried and tried with, XYZ person, people, whatever, situations, yada, yada, right? And now it's just about your peace. And you're very quick to recognize when somebody is going to try to steal your peace or is stealing your peace, and they're taking you away from, or is pulling away from, even you're trying to pull away from your relationship with God. I mean, nobody actually comes into your life and says to you, hi, I act like Satan the devil behind closed doors, and I want to take away your peace. I want to rob you of your peace, your health, and anything else. All of your resources, your money, whatever, right? Nobody comes to you like that. So it's going to be up to you to decide when somebody in your life is actually doing that to you. Okay, and if you need to, which you probably should, go to God and talk about these things, right? And then you stand on business when it comes time to removing yourself, removing your energy, whatever, from that person, that job, or whatever, that relationship or whatever, right? And when you know that you are doing the right thing, or you've done the right thing for you, for your peace, for your sanity, right? It helps you to feel more confident. You can feel more confident. Especially when the proof is in the pudding, right? So to speak, like the proof is in the pudding. When you remove yourself from, let's say, a relationship or a person, right? And your peace comes back, your joy comes back, things start growing, flourishing around you, or you're able to finally accomplish some goals or get some things done. What happens? Right? Like the proof is in the pudding. You can see that you've made the right decision for you, because now things are better. Or like, let's say, for example, you're staying with a friend or whatever, a family, like me, I had little boys, whatever, right? And peace is there. When you're able to actually coexist with another whole family in peace, and then when it's time to move on and whatever, and you're moving on and it's all in peace and it's nothing but peace, right? And it's been nothing but peace and healing and everything, again, it also shows you, God, and anybody else who actually cares to be in your business or whatever, that you, the person or whatever, are able to actually coexist in peace with others. That the issue you might have been having was just with that one person over there, or particular several people or whatever, right? So then again, the proof becomes, it is in the pudding, right? Where there's no denying that maybe that person or people was not your people. They're not really supposed to be in your life. You don't mix well with them. You're not on the same frequency, as I say. People say that, right? Okay, and so again, you start to build confidence in that. But number one, your relationship with God will help you and help your core, right? And help you with your stability when people try to pull the rug out from underneath you, or whenever you've had the rug pulled out from underneath you. Like when my late husband just suddenly died of a heart attack. Believe me when I say that will test you to your core. When somebody just disappears on you, and it's somebody that you love, somebody you did not get to have any closure with, it will absolutely test you in every way, shape, or form. But you do move through and you learn different things. So one of the things that I also do outside of prayer is in my relationship with God and keeping Him first, right? But is also making time for myself. And this is hard to do when you have a family, when you have little kids. This is very, very, very hard to do. But after stumbling so many times where you realize when you don't give to yourself enough adequate time to rebalance, daily or weekly or whatever, and you burn out, after so many burnout, crash and burns, you eventually understand and get to the point where you're like, okay, you know what? I need to give myself some time every week, a little bit every day or whatever, to do grounding. Now, again, I was kind of fortunate to have the kind of mother that taught me this type of stuff. I didn't understand how important it would be as an adult, but it has served me well. And she was the one that taught me to take time to like people watch, right? Or to calm your mind and go to the mall and just allow people to walk by, you know, and give yourself some time to just be with yourself. To be okay with yourself. And I remember, I was just telling my friend this the other day, I remember when my mom would say things to me like, you don't have to go to the mall always to buy jeans, to buy clothes or whatever. You can go to the mall to buy perspective. And I used to be like, oh, Mom, that's so corny. I was like 15, I was young. But my mom would be like, no, sit down over here on this bench or whatever and get perspective, you know, be with yourself. And my mom used to always say, you need to be okay with being with yourself. Learn to be okay with yourself. Now, some children just come by that naturally. Some children, if they're only children or they're loners or whatever, they're okay. Some children are just A-okay with being by themselves, right? But a lot of children and a lot of people in general, they are not okay with being by themselves. They're not calm, or they don't know how to generate calm, strength, or to generate energy by themselves, by being by themselves, right? They have to always be engaging with others. They have to always be on the phone. You know, they're always, you know, talking, gossiping, or whatever. They can never have quiet time, downtime to just quiet their mind and allow themselves to nourish themselves, right? With whatever thoughts flow, you know, to be able to catch Zen and good energy, right? They're always engaging and always being either entertained by others or just having noise, sound, and things around them. Okay, and those type of people, they're usually running from something on the inside of them. There's usually something on the inside of them that they don't want to quiet down for. There's either they know their thoughts are going to go to a place that they don't want to go, and so they're avoiding it. Or, you know, they are feeling guilty about something. And again, they don't want their thoughts going there either. Or they have a sadness or something that they are avoiding thinking about, right? So they want to fill up their time and their space with noise and things to do and go, or talking, TV, sound, whatever, yada, yada, right? I encourage you to fight that feeling and allow your thoughts to flow. And the feelings that come up, allow yourself to feel those feelings like a wave, and know and understand that there is not one feeling that stays with us unless you do have a chemical imbalance of some sort, which you may, and in that case there's medications for that, right? But if a thought comes up that makes you feel sad, you ride the wave all the way out until the feeling departs you. So, for example, when sometimes I think about my husband, my late husband, and sometimes he makes me laugh because I still think of things that he did that made me laugh, or sometimes certain thoughts come up and it makes me sad, and I feel sad, right? But I look at my feelings differently, and I honor my feelings. I also honor the fact that when I do feel sad, let's say, for example, I'm using the example of my late husband. When I do feel sad, that is a testimony to the love that I had for him, right? And I still have for him in my heart. But that is a testimony to his love towards me, and a testimony to the love that was shared between us. And the truth be told, that is not anything I want to run from. That is not anything that I am ever going to run from, because that is the father of my children. And if any man that I'm with tries to push that down or doesn't want to honor that part of my life by pretending he doesn't exist or whatever, I'm not going to be able to do well with that type of a man. In fact, I've experienced those type of men who expressed basically that, you know, and it didn't work out. Because again, I'm not going to ignore his name, ignore who he was in my life or for my children, because that was their father. they wouldn't like it if it was them, right? And I'm not going to do that because I wasn't raised that way, right? So I honor the feeling that comes in, and then I also pray it on out, or, let it go. So whatever the feeling is, it comes like a wave, and then it moves out. And I'm not scared of that feeling. And in fact, whatever the feelings are that come over you when you're quiet, right? Those feelings are like little sensors, right? That kind of keep you on track, kind of tell you what's going on in your life, and help you to kind of constantly keep a pulse on where you're going, what you're doing, with who, right? And how you're doing on the inside. So it's like if you're running from your feelings, I'm encouraging you not to do that, because your feelings and your emotions are like little insights, like cues as to your life and what direction even you should be going. Because let's say, for example, the person that you're with is constantly making you feel sad, or constantly giving you bad energy, or questioning yourself or your sanity, and you weren't doing that before. Instead of running from that feeling, you honor that feeling that you just got when that person just came in your space or your energy, right? And now you can see the truth as to who's disrupting your energy. Is it really you? Are you really crazy? Or is it that person that just, walked into the room or called you or whatever, and now you feel different? Now you noticeably feel sad, or you noticeably feel down, right? Your energy is drained. Now you can put your finger on it, and you can actually, with your thinking, right, actually pinpoint who's robbing you of your peace or whatever, right? Or if it was past memories or past traumas and things like that, then okay, I need to address that. Okay, so your feelings, your emotions are not anything to be running from. They are to be honored. They are to literally, you should allow yourself time to reflect, to hear yourself think, and to be able to get a handle on how you feel about certain things, certain people, situations, or whatever. And that can only be done in quiet time. Quiet time. Okay? Undisrupted time. So if you have little kids or whatever, and they're always constantly disrupting you, then that means you'll need to go take time out somewhere else. And you'll need to make that a priority so that you can have that quiet time. Okay? So again, this is the things that I do that help me to be able to navigate through life's decisions, and through life's disruptions, and through even relationships that I've had, whatever, that didn't work out. Okay, because it takes two to tango, right? Now, one of the things for me that I have, for me personally, is like, I remember saying to one person that I didn't think that we were actually really compatible, yada yada, but we ended up getting together and stuff, and as it turned out, I was correct. So one of the things that I have reflected upon is that I can actually trust when my gut tells me that I am either compatible with somebody or that I'm not, right? Because I can reflect on the things that I even said to that person, and how how it exactly played out, exactly like what I said. Okay, that I wasn't wrong. So that it's like, okay, now that's, for me, that's like, okay, you know what, I need to listen to, when I say what I say, I need to listen to myself and honor that, and not try to push it away and think, oh well, maybe I'll be wrong, or maybe I can grow to have an attraction towards that person. Okay, it didn't happen, and I'm not going to fall for that again. I'm not going to do that again. I'm just not. Okay, and I know, because a lot of people will say to me, like, and I've had a few people who have had very difficult relationships, and they had a hard time moving on past it, or learning to trust again. When your relationship with God is strong, and you are working on your relationship with God, and you actually make him first, your expectations of everybody else, they come second. God comes first. So everybody else is your expectation of them. It comes second. So it's not that you expect less of other people. It's not so much that. It's just that they don't take first place in your life, number one. But number two, part of you being a godly person or a person of God is offering people grace. That doesn't mean that they have to have the same space or hold the same space in your life, right? You can put up people in a different spot. Maybe they were second or third, and now they need to be number 10 or not at all. Okay. But it's just about, see, when you stay in a place of not trusting people or not allowing love in your life, right? When you stay in that place, you also block blessings. You block any future blessings. And so I know that God is love. This is what the scriptures say. God is love. So to know God is to know love. And to be loving and to accept love in my life. Okay? And this is part of my relationship with God. And so I allow love in my life. And sure, I have been through some things, right, that definitely kind of has made me question me and them, really and truly. But in the end, what it does is just show me who they are. And now it's my job to just trust and believe who they showed me that they were. Who they showed me who they are. Their character, right? How they show up in a relationship, or their qualities, okay? And it's for me to just trust what I've seen, right? And I can forgive that person and then move them on to a different space in my life. But still allow love, the love from God and the love from others into my life, right? So that I can also show love to others. So that I'm not a tightwad with even my love, with what I have to offer, right? Because the best place, the highest place to be is close to God, but that means that you are love, joy, peace, right? Patient, kindness, all those things, right? And to have that, again, you have to be able to move through situations. And you also have to be okay with closure. That being okay with closure, or being okay with, like, for example, my husband, when he passed, I'm going to use that example. My late husband, when he passed, right, for the longest time, definitely for a good 3 or 4 years, I didn't really accept his passing. It was almost like I still expected him unconsciously or subconsciously that he was coming back, right? And I talked about him in that tense, like he was still going to come through the door. And I also did not want to call myself a single mom. I didn't want to accept being a single mom. And so I blocked a lot of blessings in that way, right? Because it was like I was unaccepting of being even a widow.